See, I didn't disappear from here. I just took a couple weeks off, and I felt like I needed those weeks, let me tell you guys. So, Survivor Wars Apart, pretty good premiere, let me tell you. I wasn't expecting that much from it, but I gotta admit, I'm impressed. I felt like we got a lot from, the tribes, maybe not necessarily from, like, everybody in terms of their thoughts on each other. We're probably going to need a couple more episodes for that, but I definitely feel like this twist was a good one to throw in. That was an intense challenge, a pretty interesting tribal, and I'm really hoping that this season can keep going with this. Alright, so, there isn't that much to talk about before all the tribes arrive at their camp. The leader decision and who they choose to bring with them, honestly, who cares about that, okay? It's just a random decision that they make with each other when they're not just when they're finally allowed to speak to each other, because they're not allowed to really talk to each other as they're being brought up to location, or possibly a couple of days before. I'm not entirely sure how that works. I've only really heard this when it's like fans versus favorites or blood versus water, yeah. Well, you know they talk to each other anyway. So as everybody was going to the honesty versus deception, it was obvious that the no caller was going to be honest, given all the talking that they did with each other and the personalities of who was going. Blue collar, I did think that they were more likely to choose honesty, but I thought they could choose deception, and they seriously considered it. But they decided, you know what, we gotta do this for the team, and I didn't realize this until after Blue Collar picked Honesty. I'm like, do you seriously need a clue for hidden immunity idols these days? I mean, like, yes, there are times where it's harder to find the idols, you know, but still, they're in fairly obvious places, and really, the only reason people use the clues in San Juan del Sur is because they were mandated to take the clues, okay? Seriously. Yeah. And then as for a white collar, given the people that were there, it didn't surprise me that much that they chose to deceive. And then as for the lie thing, well, I didn't really realize how terrible it was until everybody else spoke in their confessionals as to how bad it was. And I definitely would not be able to come up with a good lie like that because, well, I think I may be able to sell certain lies from time to time. I really gotta think about it first. And, if you know me enough, I think you can kind of tell when I'm lying or telling only a partial truth, okay? Oh, and since everybody is pretty much identifying what color they are, I might as well identify mine. Given my occupation, I work at a pizza place. I pretty much that means I'm blue collar, but I'm not really opposed to that because I know that I'm definitely not a no collar because, like, I'm not someone who tries to push away the rules and does my own thing, you know. I'm somebody who actually accepts other standards and such, so I think by occupation and personality definition that puts me as blue, since I'm definitely not no collar and I don't have the occupation of a white collar, yeah. As to what tribe I'm rooting for, well, I'm liking all of them for different reasons. I'm currently liking Blue Collar because I feel like they're the tribe that is currently working together the best. That's not saying that it could definitely implode on them, let me tell you. But I'm also liking No Collar because I'm seeing good potential for a dark horse to arise from that tribe and dominate the season, so I'm actually kind of going against my usual standard of preferring the blue tribe, sorry about this, and saying that that tribe has the best decision makers or strategists. That's not to say that it could happen, but like I'm feeling a little differently about it this time, and previously when I've usually picked the blue team over a non-blue team, it's always been with those two tribes, so I feel like if there's more than two tribes, it's not really as easy to throw yourself to saying that a better strategist is on that team, especially since also we're going to be down to two tribes after episode 4, like usual, and yeah, you've heard enough about that. But I'm also liking the white collar because of the drama and such, obviously. And then as for little bits of stuff that was happening to each tribe, the no collar, I gotta be honest, I don't really have a comment about this supposed love triangle thingy going on there, just it's random interactions happening in the game, you know? That's my honest thoughts on it. Blue collar, I gotta admit, I think Dan could have been doing that a little bit better, although how? Not sure. And do I think the guy with the tattoo, Rodney maybe? I haven't memorized all the names yet, is lying? No, because as Rob Sesternito said, if you're gonna go for all the trouble to get a tattoo with that kind of inscription on it, yeah, he's not lying, okay? And I'm really glad that he's not, because if we get another Matt from, well, actually, if you watch Big Brother, you know what I'm talking about, okay? Yeah. Okay, and then that challenge, I gotta admit, I really like that challenge. I was real glad that they brought the make choices within a challenge, because that really puts a weight on individual decision making and lets you know your personality, kind of, and when there's 6 people, it's a lot easier for people to figure each other out, just, you know, it strengthens the politics of the game. Not bad. And I thought it was super funny that everyone initially tried to do the keys, but then decided to go for the knots. And I think it does kind of make sense, because even though we can't see, like, the keyholes, you know, are you really sure that you're putting the key in correctly, or which way you're supposed to turn it, you know? Because, like, the front door to my house, you can kind of feel if you're holding onto the key when the lock is coming undone, but I don't know if those basic ones you'd be able to tell that kind of thing, you know? I still think that the locks would have been quicker, to be honest, but the knots are easier, even though I don't think I've got the right hands for untying knots, because even though I've got thin fingers, I'm just not good at figuring out knots most of the time, I think. So it was a little bit surprising that a blue collar fell so far behind in the knots bit, but once I saw white collar surprisingly go for the 50-piece puzzle, I figured that the blue collar would be able to catch up enough to the puzzle situation, so I'm like, okay, so it's not going to be as huge of a blowout, so nothing to bother with there. Then no collar going for the 10-piece puzzle. Well, if they're fans of the show, they've actually seen the puzzle done before, so you can figure out sort of how the pieces would fit in, and also the alternating color patterns, although I'll admit no color had a much easier time with the alternating color patterns than the blue color did, although of course blue color had the copy just 10 feet away, and how do I feel about that? Well, it's been done before, so it's not worth commenting about it again, okay? Although I did think it was kind of cute when a no collar was actually chewing on blue collar to finish, and I did get kind of nervous, even though it looked like white collar was struggling with that puzzle. I mean, like, it's a very simple concept, but I do think it is tough to execute, because, okay, here's the problem. All the pieces are square, you know, so 1/4 with a little bit of white, blue, or red color could look like it fits in. It turns out it doesn't. Yeah, so just simply dividing it by color or trying to find the edge pieces really doesn't solve anything. So, in hindsight, it does make sense why white collar failed, but yeah, at the same time, you can't help but feel like it's still kind of stupid that they failed. But I did kind of want to see them fail, given the politics that were happening in that tribe, and it didn't really surprise me when that chick, I've forgotten her name, found the idol. You could just tell by the music in the background and the fact that they didn't switch away from her after like 10 seconds, yeah. So after white collar lost, it becomes obvious that it's either So, who was supposed to be on from last season, or Carolyn, I think her name is. Yeah, that's probably it, yeah. Going, and then that tribal, that was just ridiculous how everyone openly stated exactly what was going on in their minds, and Jeff's sitting there like, he didn't have to do a mean almost. Everybody was just being perfectly honest. That was just ridiculous. And so just outed the supposed foursome leading the tribe and such, and just, man, ridiculousness. And like, I did think it was more likely to be so, given her behavior at tribal, but given everything that happened pre-tribal, I'm pretty darn sure that everyone had already made up their minds. It just became obvious at the tribal that they were going to turn on So, and honestly, I got no comment because So really shot herself in the foot, and yeah, that's not to say that the guy she was with didn't shoot himself in the foot either, because she, as she revealed in talking to Rob Sister Nino, that she was actually trying to go for the honesty back at first, but yeah, whatever, I just got nothing to comment about on her that much more, really. So as for our next episode, here's the big question. Is the next time throwing us for a loop and actually making a blue collar lose the challenge? Because in Kagayan, the next time for episode 2 only showed Brawn and Brain, but Beauty ended up losing. So, is Blue Collar doomed to lose the next immunity? Let's find out. Gonna be interesting, huh?